I'm Sydney and I'm the owner of SpeedLab, and we have a 2005 Honda CR-V here that was brought to us by the producers of this show with the complaint that number 1, mahina humatak, number 2, walang lakas, number 3, malakas sa gas, and all sorts of other stuff. Apparently, the sordid history of this car is in-overhaul ng dalawang beses by some shop out there. They don't know who also. Finally gave up, brought it to us, and here's the thing. The engine actually has no problem. So whoever did the overhaul did it correctly. What we did was we did a compression test on all 4 cylinders, and it came out to be 130, 135 each. So that tells us the compression is good. The car starts, yeah. It's not palyado, it runs. Because apparently, they did the engine. They forgot to do the transmission. So the transmission was already sliding. It was really, really bad. And what we ended up doing was we replaced the whole transmission. We got a surplus unit and then swapped it in. And voila, may hatak na ulit. Once we have the transmission in, it's okay. We're gonna put it on the dyno to see how much power that it makes, to see if all that power that the engine makes is being transferred to the wheels or not. So that's step 1. That's the easiest way to check if the common complaint, mahina yung hatak ng kotse ko at saka walang lakas. Because if it doesn't make the correct power on the dyno, that means there's something wrong with the engine. Transmission is in, we'll put it on the dyno now. We've finished with our baseline dyno with the surplus transmission installed, and then we have 98 horsepower. If that might seem low to you, let me explain. This is actually the correct power figure for that car. When this CR-V was new and you try to research and look back on the internet, the brochure will say 140 horsepower for the 2-liter engine. That's correct, but that is the power of the engine alone measured at the crankshaft. The dyno measures the power at the wheels. So once you put in the transmission, the drive shaft, the axle, everything, and even the weight of the wheel itself, so the actual power that gets to the car is normally 30, 40 horsepower off from whatever's written on the brochure. That is very normal, whether it be a Civic, a CR-V, a Corolla, a Jazz, Fortuner. There is a transmission loss from brochure to actual wheel horsepower. So this figure that we have, 98, or let's round it out to 100 for all intents and purposes, is correct. So that means our engine is healthy, it's making the correct amount of power. Next step, to get more power, the easiest and most cost-effective way to get it is through engine tuning, and we will be using Unichip to tune this engine. This is our Unichip. It's installed to the ECU harness, which is actually located behind the glove compartment. That's where the CR-V's ECU is installed. So it's about 8 wires here to install to the harness, and note it is the engine wiring harness, not the ECU itself. And the things that is controlled by the Unichip is amount of fuel the engine gets and spark plug timing, or when the spark plug actually fires. This is hooked up to a laptop, and then we will be tuning it on the dyno. So immediately we will see what adjustments we make translates to how much horsepower we have. All right, this is after I'm done tuning it. So it took me about an hour to tune the whole thing. So this is our previous power. It's 98 horsepower here, and after tuning, we're up 114. Okay, let's just round it up, 115 horses. So for all intents and purposes, we got 17 horses more. That's actually pretty big. 17 might seem small, but I'll put it into context. The scooter that you buy, say it's a Mio or Click, those things are 5 horses, 6 horses. So a 17 horse increase means you're adding 3 scooters worth of power to your car, and it's not small. And since we have more power and more torque on tap, drive normally, you should see about 8 to 10% better mileage because you don't need to step on the pedal as much anymore to get the power that you want. All right, so we fixed a CR-V with a bad transmission, which was misdiagnosed by pretty much every shop that the owners brought it to. We're pretty much a full-fledged shop. We do everything mechanical, so under chassis, suspension, overhaul, tuning, dyno, performance parts, basically everything except body and paint. How about that? So you can reach us through Facebook, and I'm the one who answers the Facebook Messenger, and I just have a request for the guys who want to inquire. Please state what car you have, what model, what make, engine, and what you want done to your car. Please do not start your message with how much, or magkano po, or pwede ba yan sa kotse ko. Literally, I'm not a mind reader, so I don't know what car you have. You may have 1 car, you may have 3 cars, you may have 5 cars. So the more information you give me, the better answer I will give you to help you get more power.